So it seems I am just determined to never let this YouTube thing actually work. And that is because I'm going to commit the cardinal sin that most YouTubers kind of advise against you not doing, and that is mixing content types. So I've started off doing gameplay. Well, actually, before that, I did skits, and then I moved on to gameplay because that's a type of thing that I can do by myself that doesn't involve the help of another person. Well, I wasn't very good at the whole commentary thing to begin with, and I think a lot of what I'm going to talk about today has something to do with me just not being good at things. A while back, I started a music project called Errol's Dreams. So I wanted to make this concept of an album where every piece of the music was just another part of a story, or another story of an overarching theme. The story would start off with a man waking up in an abandoned clock factory surrounded by mirrors. The man is not named Errol. Errol is the name of kind of like this owl spirit that holds dominion over this realm. So like the dreams are the realm that Errol presides over. And it's sort of a realm of judgment where people face the things that they don't normally want to face or admit in their everyday life. So the song was going to start off with this guy looking into the mirrors and finding a reflection that wasn't his that made him uncomfortable because it revealed something about who he truly was and not who he wants to be. Well, I couldn't do that, mostly because I had no way to record vocals, no way to edit vocals or make them sound good. I didn't have an awful lot of knowledge when it came to the production side of music, but I had a free trial of FL Studios and I could just grind out a couple of melodies in a singular day, all in one take, no pausing. If I started a song project, I had to finish it that day because the trial version only lets you save projects. It doesn't let you open them. And if you do open them, it doesn't play sound. So I basically took advantage of the free trial and just made music all in one sitting. And because of that, even though I wasn't able to provide lyrics or singing to these songs, I ended up with a lot of instrumental tracks, which is a lot different than what I had thought I was going to start the project off with. I guess what I'm trying to say is I usually have ideas about something that I want to do, and due to limitations or not being able to completely realize my internal vision, I come out with a product that's a little different than what I wanted, but it's not always a bad thing. I liked the music that I made. It just means that a lot of things that I keep doing and trying in life are things that I wanted to do one way and then they come out another. They just don't come out exactly how I expect. And it's usually because I'm not good at the thing that I'm trying. But as Jake the dog says,
sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
So that's where I'm at here. I started out with gameplay videos and there was this constant struggle in my head. I was always giving myself this expectation that I always had to think of something to say about everything that was happening. I always had to comment on every single interaction that was happening within the game, and I just wasn't very good at it. I wasn't able to come up with conversations or discussion points on the fly while things were happening because I was still piecing stuff together. And even though I could very well piece things out together out loud for people to listen to so that they can understand my assumptions and how it's all adding up to what I realize is the truth at the end, I was always really super self-conscious about having the wrong impression about something. Even though it's okay to have the wrong impression about something and to not be right 100% of the time, that's normal. That's the experience that people have whenever they watch movies. Otherwise, they're just kind of silently ingesting the information and making no assumptions, and then either being pleasantly surprised or being like, oh yeah, that makes sense at the very end. So I always had a habit of making assumptions while playing video games and then feeling kind of like, oh no, well, I know now at the end of the playthrough that is not the truth of the thing that I thought was happening, so I never allowed myself to make that judgment. I never allowed myself to incorrectly give an opinion on something that then evolved over time to eventually become the correct one. I never allowed myself that human moment to just be someone playing a game for the first time, not knowing anything about it, and going, I wonder if this is this, and then, just be wrong about it and go, oh, well, hey, that's different than what I thought. That's cool. I was always under this assumption that you just have to be right about things. You have to be good at things too. I cut out a lot of my speaking, and then I noticed that I wasn't really saying very much. I wasn't interacting with the medium very much. And that's when I kind of stumbled across what I actually wanted to do when playing these games, and that's more about the performance aspect. I leaned into the voice acting thing. If you look at the video that plays automatically whenever you visit my channel, it's a video by a game developer named Angela He, I believe. I'm not really sure how the last name is pronounced. I'm very sorry about that. But it's the last video that I ever recorded in my childhood home. It is kind of nostalgic for me for completely different reasons than most people who watch it. Some people might think about other more famous YouTubers who have played the game and sort of like had a very human reaction to what they were seeing. But I was more in the line of thinking, I want to make something. I want to make something that somebody will watch and enjoy and react to. I wanted to be the person who amplified what was already there in the game so that someone could look at it and then have their own human reaction to it. I wanted to be the thing that YouTubers reacted to. I really enjoyed playing games that were just text-based so that I could make the voices for the characters, I could add the emotion, I could influence the pacing of how things progressed, I could change anything I wanted, how fast the characters spoke, what voice the characters had, all of that stuff. I wanted to be the one who influenced all of those decisions. And that's when my gameplay style kind of changed. But the more I did that, the more I took away commentary. And then the need and desire to comment on things kind of started arising naturally as I was doing this performance thing. So there are some gameplay series that I have where I combine the two, like my Pokemon series. I do a little bit of the voice acting, but I also do a lot of commentary on the situation of what's currently happening because I actually have an opinion on what's going on. And I think that's really cool, but it's also kind of hard to do because whenever I'm in the moment and I want to make sure that the performance has its integrity locked in, I have to withhold all of my commentary until afterwards. So me as a content creator is this constant wrestling of what it is that I want to do with the content that I'm producing, because I want that performance aspect, but I also don't mind having an opinion on things, which is probably why I've started streaming more on Twitch. But the games that I'm playing are starting to sort of dwindle because now that I'm running out of things to stream, the things that I want to stream are things that I also want to record. And I have a long list of things that I want to record. The gameplay is not going away. It's just, after a while, the editing process just takes too long, and I'm just sitting here looking at videos render. I'm constantly wanting to record more, but I'm being held back by my production pipeline. I had this challenge where I did a video every single day, where rather I would record a whole bunch of footage, and then I'd edit it all in one sitting, and then I'd release episodes every single day. Sometimes I would be a month or two ahead of time, and I'd be uploading videos like way in the future so that I had buffer time in between one series and the next. So an awful lot of the time, whenever you would see a series go up, I had already finished the series before you even see the first episode. It was a good pace. I could keep it up pretty well, but the moment I started streaming was the moment that I wasn't able to keep up that pace very well. So that's where I am with this. I took a little bit of a break. I'm kind of back, I'm kind of not, because I don't really have an actual series that I'm putting up. I am trying something new with the Genshin Impact videos because I used to just stream Genshin Impact, but I'm also trying to put in like character reviews or character trial reviews rather, not really reviews about the characters themselves, but rather how the character is being marketed. I try very carefully to stay within that realm because usually when it comes to super heavily opinionated creators, they tend to forget that other people's playstyles exist and each character is kind of marketed towards a different kind of playstyle. And while you could be like, hey, I recognize what this playstyle is, here's probably the best way to facilitate that, a lot of them let their own personal biases of how they like to play interfere with their review of the character in question. As I am not a big fan of doing that, I like to try to be as unbiased as possible by at least saying, hey, let's ground your expectations in reality and just tell you what the character is or what I think it is based on what I'm reading. And then you can make a decision based on what you like about character playstyles. And if you don't like the character, that's totally fine. That's very legitimate. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that a character is something that it's not and try to tell you that they're good or bad based on my own personal biases. I don't think that that's how that should work. And it kind of irritates me when content creators do that. Luckily, not a lot of them do it, but enough of them do that it's just frustrating. And that's why I'm super mindful about the way that I present my character analysis. I don't want to be like, this character is great or this character is bad. I just want to say, this character is what they are. Take them or leave them. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with that. And I know this is getting a little bit rambly, but I think I'm going to try and do something a little different from what I normally do. And this is where I'm wrapping back up to the first point. My first point that I may not have really addressed so well is I never really found my voice. A lot of content creators, they know what their voice is. They know what their content is. They know what it is that they want to do every time that they make a video. And they have a particular pattern that they follow. They know what their voice is. Whenever you go to their channel, you know what kind of content they're going to be creating. Usually it's because content creators don't mix content types, but I digress. The point is, whenever a YouTube creator sits down to think about a video that they want to make, they usually already have their voice. They know what it is that they want to do with their channel. They know which direction they're taking it. They know what they want to talk about whenever they do talk about things. Like, they have a very clear objective so that at the end of the video, you have fulfilled as a viewer what they want as a creator to elicit from you. And I know that that sounds like you're being manipulated, and sometimes you are, but whenever you watch a movie, you're relying on that label to let you know or to inform you what the movie is generally going to expose you to emotionally. You're not going to want to watch a drama if you are feeling crappy and you want to feel better about yourself that day. No, you're probably going to put on a comedy and you're going to put on a movie hoping that it makes you laugh. If you feel like your day is going horribly and you just need a good cry, you're going to watch something a little more sappy. If you're feeling a little alone, maybe you want to watch a rom-com because maybe watching two people fall in love on screen gives you this feeling by proxy that you also can achieve love. It's a weird thing where we, as human beings, allow media to manipulate our emotions so that we can feel a little more complete in the moment. And that's why we digest content. We enjoy things that fill up our time. We like watching people play games, usually a game that you enjoy or a game that you like. It's kind of like introducing a game to your friend. You want to watch them play that game because you want to know that they like the game that you like too. And you want to know the specific reasons that they like that game. Or you're just very curious how they tackle some of the difficulties in the game that you've tackled before in the past. All sorts of interesting stuff. I guess what I'm saying is, it's not really the content so much as what the content does for you as a viewer that makes you want to watch it. Like, YouTubers seem to have this belief that they always have to appeal to a new audience, a brand new audience, to bring new people in, while also trying to balance making content that is faithful to their older viewers so that they're not betraying them or whatever. But oftentimes I see them struggle with making content that they're proud of or content that they want to make because as time progresses, your interests change, they evolve. You want to do more things, you want to do something different. And honestly, if you're a viewer who just enjoys the content that that person makes because it's that person making it, then you're not going to care what that person makes. You just want to see what they're doing and what makes them happy when they're doing it. So I guess while I understand where they're coming from, I also feel like allowing creators to just do what they want would foster a better environment for YouTubers in general. Maybe we'd have a lot less clickbait nonsense, thumbnails that look kind of gross and just like a mess of everything on them. I don't know about the rest of you, but I kind of hate thumbnails when I scroll through YouTube because they just look like someone vomited a whole bunch of PNGs on a white canvas. It's distracting and gross looking. It looks like a whole mess of stuff they just piled on, and then the YouTuber's face is photoshopped off to one side or something like that. And some of them make really nice, good, clean looking thumbnails, but most of the time it's just, ugh, it looks like someone vomited on the page. And it's just multiplied over and over and over again. And it gets so exhausting because I see the same titles all the time, and it's just tell me what the video is about. But to try not to tangent too hard, I want to do video reviews, kind of like some commentary stuff. I just want to give my opinion on something, and I want to be allowed to suck at it at first. But I hope that in time it gets a little better, and as I'm doing it, I kind of discover how I want to do it. I want to find my voice. I think I found my voice as far as like the gameplay stuff is concerned. I want to do voiceover stuff. I want to do character performances. I want to lean into that. I'm not opposed to playing regular games that are already voiced and then giving my genuine reactions to what it is that I'm seeing. But I also don't want to have that pressure that I always have to react to something. So I think a good example of me just allowing myself to sort of relax and just let the reactions come naturally and the commentary come naturally would probably be my Final Fantasy VII Remake playthrough. I actually enjoyed playing that game and commentating on it and didn't feel the pressure that I felt at the beginning of my channel's video history, where I was just like trying to force myself to say something at any given moment and then just editing it all out anyway. Because either way, the audience still doesn't hear what you have to say. So this video has just been me telling you that I'm trying to find my voice, but I'm changing my interests. I want to do different things and I want to do more things, but I can't be bothered to make a new channel just to put these new interests in. I'm not successful in YouTube. I don't know if it's going to make my YouTube presence worse than it was before, but you know what? I'm willing to take a chance because it's not financially supporting me. I'm not going to ruin my channel any more than it already is by posting every single day for an entire year and having practically nobody look at what I'm posting. I just want to experiment. I just want to put stuff out there. I want to express my voice or find my voice and have people watch that evolution as it naturally progresses. I want people to see what it is that I am up to, my thoughts, my opinions on things, which can evolve and change over time. Don't forget that people's opinions do change over time, especially when they are introduced to new information. I just want that for me. I want to do that for me. And it's a selfish thing to ask, but I would kind of want those of you who are watching my content to give it a chance. Watch me not be good at something in the hopes that I get better at something. And then if I do get better at it, I want you to see the better stuff that I make later on down the line. I just want to do something new. I want to do something new and feel like I'm allowed to do it and not be inherently good at it from the start. I have 2 videos already that I want to do, and I can already tell you, I don't know where to begin with them. I'm just gonna flounder a bit. I have some scripts written. Don't worry about that. It's gonna be a little more streamlined, so I'm not just tangenting like crazy like I'm doing right now. If the setup is a little weird looking, the lighting doesn't look great, it's because some of those segments were recorded before this recording right now, where I actually like this lighting a lot better than in those videos. You can basically see. You can see everything. It's not just dark and then my face hovering in the background like the mirror from the Snow White. I'm super sorry how often I'm repeating myself, but I'm going to be mixing my content. The gameplay videos are still going to exist. They're still going to be uploaded. And yes, I am going to still record an entire series in advance so that whenever you watch the first episode, the next part will always be the very next day. Maybe not on weekends, but Monday through Friday, you're gonna be good. Don't worry, that's not going away. But I think every now and then I want to also do something a little different that I don't normally do. I want to do skits. I want to do video commentary where I'm like talking about an issue that's happening currently in the world, or a movie that's come out that maybe I want to have an opinion on. Maybe even something that you want me to comment on. Convince me to watch a movie or a short series and then challenge me to voice an opinion on it and see where we go from there. Because who knows? I may end up enjoying what it is that I watch. I may not enjoy what I'm gonna watch. But I just know that I'm always still in the process of finding my voice, and this is gonna be something of an experiment. I haven't quite found my voice yet with these videos, and I'm hoping that as I'm doing them, I find what it is that I'm good at and sort of lean into it, and then do it more often, and hopefully make something that you're going to enjoy watching. So thank you for watching this very long, rambly video. I will see you next time. So until then, stay tuned.